Konnichiwa. Today I'll be reading scary stories on Reddit, and there's no need for a long intro, so let's get into it. Alright, for our first story, we got My Encounter with a Demon, posted by... When I was 14, I had a strange encounter that still puzzles me to this day. On the weekend, I sometimes go to my mother's place. My parents are divorced. The house she lived in was converted into several small apartments. It was a creepy old farmhouse. The house was at least 150, maybe 200 years old. Oh my god. My mom told me off and on of a strange sounds she'd be hearing and seeing things in the corner of her eyes. Feeling of being watched. This one particular evening when I spent the night, I brought my N64 because my mom would go to bed early and I'd still be up for a few hours. I still remember to this day what game I was playing. WWF No Mercy. Hey! Shout out to WWE fan, man. Come on, bro. We know the product has been terrible. Like, triple... This isn't about WWE, Mo. You're reacting to horror stories. Lock in. I just finished the mission in the game and set down the controller to the left of me, behind me. Directly behind me was a recliner. I'll never forget what I saw next. I went to grab the controller and saw what appeared to be a hoof like a horse next to the controller on the floor. Insects and blood was coming out of the silver that separated the roof. I thought to myself, how strange. I slowly glanced up and this demonic figure was staring at me. It leaned down towards me. His face got down in my face and grinned the most evil smile. The eyes black, face red, one-winged creature. Man, what in the world? Blood was dripping from his teeth. It was so surreal. I immediately went into a panic attack and blacked out. I learned later it was the fight or flight response. Several seconds later, I came to laying on the floor, could barely move. The demonic figure in the chair was laughing at me. It was as if my fear and energy had been sucked dry from me. Man, what? I lost all strength. I did all I could to crawl to my mom's room and wake her up. After I woke her up, we talked and she believed me. She told me she too had seen the same thing earlier and that She told me she had seen the same thing earlier that week, but didn't want to scare me. I didn't know what to make of it and still think of it to this day. I have no doubt demons and angels are real, and believe me, the last thing you ever want to encounter is a demon smiling in your face. Okay, my honest response to this. Why the hell did your mom even live in a farmhouse? In farmhouses, bro, you're gonna keep encountering demons. And the cabins, you're gonna encounter serial killers. Like around last year, my friends were trying to host a kickback. So then the plan was that we get an Airbnb. Then all of a sudden, these motherfuckers talk about something. We're gonna get a cabin. I'm gonna be sleeping in my cabin. Then I'm gonna hear knocking on the door. If I get up and open the door, trust me, all I'm gonna see is Jason. Or even worse, Michael Myers. And they're both gonna diddle me in the cabin. Mo, stop being a bitch. Go have fun with your friends. Well, guess what, buddy? I'm a bitch. Yes, I'm a bitch. Talking about some fun. Ain't no fun in getting diddled. Psycho Jones says, senior year in college, I was working late at night on an editing project for the campus TV station, which was located in the basement of the oldest building on campus. It was generally agreed that there was a ghost or a presence in the building because things would move or disappear for weeks, only to reappear in a locked cabinet, only accessible by moving a couch, etc. You get the idea. Anyway, back to the story. It was around 2 a.m. when I got up to the It was around 2 a.m. when I got up to go to the bathroom, did my business, washed my hands, and went to wipe, then on my pants. As I walked toward the door, when all of a sudden, I hear the unmistakable ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Yeah, like, I can't take a story serious if there's like sound effects, bro. Maybe I'm a child. Ka-chunk sound of the manual paper towel dispenser behind me. I look back and there is freshly released paper towel hanging there waiting for me. Not to be rude, I grabbed the paper towels, dried my hands, said thank you to the room, and got the hell out. This doesn't even feel like a scary video anymore, bro. This is like reading paranormal comedy stories. Jam Go Blind F says, between ages 7 and 17, I lived in a house that was haunted. My family always told me it wasn't, but my room in particular had a lot of activity. There was always things moving around the house, things turning on and off. Nobody ever wanted to be in the house alone. I remember a couple of times I would interact with this little girl who lived there, until she woke up one night and I hollered for my mom, who also saw her. There was usually some whispering you would hear while you were upstairs. something pushed my mom down the stairs. That's just scratching the surface. I got a lot of stories from that place. We eventually moved out. My family still denying the house was haunted. My grandparents lived next door to the house and said there was a lot of people moving in and out. My grandmother talked to the landlord who stated. My grandmother talked to the landlord who stated people claimed it was haunted. They finally had a rabbi move in and he blessed the house, stating there was several evil spirits he could feel inside the house. I am now 30 and my mom admits it was haunted and she didn't want to scare me. I hate when parents do that. I really hate when parents do that. Like they know something is haunted, like at a house or something like crazy happens, and they know it's some demon encountering, but they just never admit it. Like they just hate to admit it to us. Back in like late 22 or early 2023, me and my family were going through something, let's say, strange. I was like 16 or 17 years old at the time, so I used to stay up late all night just on the game and stuff. And sometimes I'd be on the game with my headset on and I'd hear my mom call me from downstairs. Which then when I go and open my door, I see that the living room is completely dark downstairs and everybody is asleep. So now I'm here in my room. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just hearing stuff from the game and I'm thinking it's my mom. So I started wearing my headphones just like this. So as I'm playing my game or whatever, I'm still hearing my mom's voice from downstairs calling me. And again, I go and open the door, but the living room is still dark and nobody's alive. And that really creeped me the fuck out. So the next day, I tell my mom about the story and then she starts laughing. She didn't believe me. She was like, oh, you're hallucinating. You're just hearing stuff, whatever. It's not that serious. So me being the 16-year-old, I just go to my room and all mad or whatever. And now I started praying to God that she encountered something paranormal or something just so I don't look dumb or nothing. So then whatever, the night goes on, we go to sleep, we wake up the next day. My mom comes to me. My mom was telling me that her and my sister-in-law were in the kitchen and they started hearing some footsteps coming from the living room towards the kitchen. They turned around thinking it was me because mind you, my dad is at work and nobody else is home but me. And I'm upstairs asleep. But they turn around, they don't see anybody. So then whatever, they just carry on. And then she tells me she heard the same footsteps but just louder coming from the same spot. So then they turn around, nothing. That's very dumb from me, I know. But if I'm gonna encounter something creepy and I'm gonna tell you what happened, you're gonna laugh at me, bro, I'm gonna pray you get the same thing. All right, next story is coming from Duckstar21, and it said, oh, Duckstar, whoops. This is something I usually just say to my close family and friends. To get you in some context, I live in the capital of my state, but I used to have a great-grandfather in a little town around 3 hours away from my home. He died a couple of weeks before turning 101 years old. Good goodness. But that last bit is irrelevant, just a fun fact. The point is that my family used to visit him at least once a month. My grandparents, uncle, and some aunts, along with most of my family says, wait, I just skipped the whole line. Along with most of my cousins and parents. 4 to 8 cars full of people, but we never stay there to sleep. At least that's what my family says. And it's almost impossible to me to have an afternoon nap. Insomnia is common for me. This is important later in the story. I believe I was haunted by something now I know are called guardians. I have a vivid memory of my family staying over there to sleep on my GGP house. Oh, wait, great grandparent? That's what it meant? Grand. Yeah, I think that's what it meant. They gave us some hammocks and some blankets. Yes, Mexican. And yes, it gets cold during the early morning before the sunrise. I tend to wake up around 2 to 3 a.m. since I was 7 and 9 to have something to eat, 2 or 3 cookies. And we were in the living room. Near my hammocks was a small table with cookies that my mom prepared beforehand, knowing I would get hungry and didn't want me to bother others in their sleep. In front of the table was the door that while it usually remained open because it was a small safe town and all the neighbors left their door open during the night. But since we were there, they decided to close and lock it to make us feel comfortable. Next to it, it was a big window with iron bars. The window was basically a wall. It extended almost from the floor to the roof. And to column, I took a couple of cookies and ate them. Without looking up, I felt a chill on my body. Something telling me by instinct that something bad was about to happen. The goosebump didn't take long to invade all of my body, and then that's when I heard it. Tick, 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 tick. There was someone or something tapping the iron bars of the window trying to get my attention. I looked up and saw a pale head with black veins with no hairs. Man, what? The place where the eyes were supposed to be were empty. Just pure infinite darkness, and it was smiling. It wasn't filled with endless razor sharp teeth or unnaturally bended fangs. It was just a smile. The type of smile that was unnaturally big, taking 3/4 of its face, and no tongue, pure darkness beyond the row of teeth. I could see its body, just a long neck. and the long pale hands that ended with black tips and nails pointing at the door. I felt a compulsion to open the door and got nearer and nearer. Step by step, felt my mind trapped screaming, but no sound from my mouth. While my body moved despite my unwillingness, I don't know what happened, but something snapped inside of me. And somehow, while my little hand was on the lock, I was able to regain my senses. I remember crying in silence and managing to get back to my hammock. The thing eventually left the window, not without reminding me it was still there with the endless taps on the iron bars. I don't remember how, when, or if I slept the remaining of the night, but the next memory is my family receiving the news that the neighbor died to a heart attack in the middle of the. He was found next to his door. There is no way for me to confirm this since, like I said, while it was a vivid memory for me, as clear as the memories of my first kiss or the first time that I won a fight on elementary school, my family insists that such thing never happened because we almost left before sunset. Ever since then, I had a phobia to see a window. Funny. That's not funny. Yo, people be having phobia of anything. You know, phobia is not funny. I know people that are scared of oranges. I'm being so serious. I'm not even trying to be funny. I know people that have a phobia from an orange, the fruit. I always kept my curtains closed after sunset, but every once in a while I heard it, reminding me it was still waiting for me to open the door. Tick, tick, tick. This actually has a happy ending, but I'm at work. I'll edit it, alright? Are you serious? Oh, they posted part two. Okay, good. In my mind, I was haunted by a whole decade. At least I had memories of being haunted by this thing by a decade, but for some reason, I never told my parents. My dad's immediate reaction was telling me that whatever happened to me wasn't real. Even when he had some experiences with his late brother before I confessed everything. And my mom, she is too religious in the aspect to the point of not watching horror movies because she thinks it's an invitation for those things to happen in your house anyway. Oh boy, I done invited so many spirits to my house. I met my girlfriend, soon to be my fiance, but don't tell her. Bro, you're giving out way too many useless information. We don't need any of this. I met my girlfriend through my best friend, let's call him Fred, to keep his identity safe. His real name is Diddy. 3 years ago, Fred invites us to his house to have some beers and dinner with his sister and brother in law and another pair of friends in common. I have to admit, it was me who made them a couple. After dinner, we went. See what I mean? Like, that was so that was so useless. There was no point of that. After dinner, we went to the living room where there's a small window just big enough to let some light in and to see the house next door from the couch I was sitting. The house belongs to his family. Hell, almost the whole block belongs to his family. In my city, we tend to put concrete walls to separate houses, but the house next door was inside the same wall, surrounding the corner and splitting his property with one of the neighbor of the other side. In that house, Fred's grandmother died. If you believe in the stories his family tells, his grandmother was possessed, and in fact, died soon after a failed exorcism in that house. Rest in peace, my granny. She got hit by a bazooka. Fred told us soon after I confessed to them I had a phobia to windows during the night. And instead of asking why, he told us to go to the front yard and told us about the story about his grandma and how his parents, who ended up divorcing not long ago, were having more and more fights. He also told us about seeing a woman with long black hair and a white dress, watching him from the kitchen when he arrived from school at night, 9:30, 10 p.m. Oh, you doing night school? I can't do that, bro. And once seeing her on the hallway after taking a shower in the middle of the night, he also heard someone banging his window in the middle of the night and seeing a handprint on the glass when he woke up. Then the other couple tell their own stories to Tony. Who in the world is Two Tony? Tells how he has a mirror in his room, always covered with a blue sheet because he saw someone reflected on it that wasn't him. And when the mirror is not covered, there is always something out of place in his room. He lived with his parents at the time, but locked the room every time he left the house, the only key being his. And his girlfriend, Jessie, told us how she was amulet. How you spell amulet, 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 amulet. And his girlfriend Jessie told us how she has an amulet made to her by a white witch. Now they can't. A white witch? You're fucking insane. Because she felt a presence in her house. Eventually, I'll tell my story, part one. And my girlfriend tells one about she speaking with a child during her neighbor's pregnancy. That girl is now 7 years old, neighbor's daughter. Okay, this like the story layout is very like unorganized. I'm not liking this. Eventually, we all left and everyone slept okay that night, mostly because none of us slept alone. It was a Saturday, but the next night, Sunday, was different. Jessie had a nightmare about a black smoke man talking to her and aiming at her insecurities. Tony's mirror lost a blanket in the middle of the night. He was unable to find it until the next morning. He couldn't sleep. Even when he turned to the mirror, he felt someone watching him. And he swears someone screamed inside his house, but no one woke up. Fred saw the woman inside his room. She left after 10 minutes staring at him, and my girlfriend felt someone inside her room like a predator stalking its prey. At that time, I had distanced myself from religion, but when I tried to pray to God after many years, I felt someone choking me. The harder I tried, the harder I choked. I know all of those events because I called my friends and girlfriend next day asking them about feeling weird last night. After I called my friends and make sure it was all connected to the Saturday night, I came to the conclusion that whatever was haunting Fred's house decided to send something else, or at least a part of itself, to us. Unlike other horror stories where the house are cold, Fred's house was hot, unnaturally hot. My city is known to be hot and humid, but even on fresh days, Fred's house was hot, like if the thing in there was expelling energy instead of absorbing it. We found later that someone had buried a dark magic artifact below the construction. Oh, goodness gracious. That day, Tony and Jesse went with the White Witch, while my girlfriend, friend, and I, with Fred's mom and sister, went to a church. But not any church. In that church resides the only exorcist authorized by the. How you say this word?
Vatican.
Vatican. In that church resides the only exorcist authorized by the Vatican. And every Monday, when he performs cleaning and healing masses, in other words, he basically performs mass exorcisms with his assistants. On my way there, I was afraid of going there. I was angry at my girlfriend for driving me to there, even when it was my idea to go there. And the closer I get, the stronger the strength. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do it. Mo, yes, you can. I can't do it. No, Mo, yes, you can. No, I can't. It was my idea to go there, and the closer I get, the stronger the strangling sensation felt. And that's when I realized I wasn't afraid, but the thing was afraid and was trying to manipulate. It's not that hard to say manipulate. Manipulate me to avoid going there. And once again, just like in my memories of youth, something snapped inside. The strangling sensation was gone. Instead, some kind of energy flow from the place between my shoulder blades and the thing that was holding me was now being held by me. I felt it in my ring hand, trapped, struggling to leave. But I didn't let it. It felt like having a fever, but only on one hand. Eventually, the mass begun, and the cameras, the priest streams his masses. He's a streamer! Bruh. Slowly, people begin to scream as soon as whatever they had feels attacked by the priest or his aides that are imposing hands. The priest looks in the eye. Oh, me. That's supposed to be me. Okay. The priest looks me in the eyes, but it felt like if he was watching through me. He sent one of his assistants, and she starts working with my girlfriend. I stay there holding her hand with my left, and they end with here, and then Fred and his family. I am left to be the last, and not the last of the group, but the last person in general. The assistant works on me. She prays in tongues. I can't understand. I feel my hand burning, heavy. She tells me to lift my right hand. I can't. And then I manage to lift it just a few centimeters. But it's not enough. The priest gets near me. He trades places with his assistant. I feel the holy water on my head and arm. He speaks in tongues. I can't understand. He tells me to lift my hand, and I manage to lift it around the height of my belly button. Still not enough. I look down, my eyes shut. He commands me to lift my arm. I finally do it. He looks me in the eye and says, "You still have something else." Ooh, something old. He turns around. He sees my girlfriend. The same look he gave to me the first time. He nods as is giving her permission giving her permission or recognizing something. He calls a man and goes to get a microphone. He stays by the altar. The woman starts screaming. The woman starts speaking to me, but I can't hear her. The man speaks to my girlfriend, but I can't hear them. I can only hear the priest saying to everyone, "Do you renounce to old pacts? Do you renounce to evil deeds? Do you renounce to biddings?" And everyone says, "I do." And then he says, "I destroy those pacts, those biddings, and those chains by the holy blood of Christ." He asks the crowds, but looks at me. "Do you renounce to the guardian, to the entity that haunts you at night? Do you renounce to the old pacts?" I look down. I try to say I do. I can't. I feel like the child walking to the door once again. I hear my girlfriend vomiting. I'm finally able to say I do. Believe it or not, since that day, I lost my phobia to windows at night. I no longer hear the ticks, and while many people would say bullshit, I know it was real. And to end the video, I just want to say, rest in peace, my granny. She got hit by a bazooka. Y'all stay blessed.